Well, I definitely think I'm my own biggest critic, and so I think most of the pressure is coming from me. Everyone else kind of just tries to ease all the pressure off me, which is great. So I'm not feeling super pressured. I think last year I felt even more pressure than I do, so maybe it's still a little early, but we'll see kind of how the year plays out. I would describe 2019, I guess, exhilarating. I think that's one word that really kind of sums up the year for me. Well, the start of every year, I kind of think about how the year is going to play out, and I kind of plan that out in my head, and I come up with a word to kind of what I think is going to determine how my season goes. And this year for me I used the word compete. And something so simple as that, but I just had that kind of focus in my mind at every race that I really was going to have to work hard at winning a world championships to kind of accomplish all my goals. So this year it was just a simple word, and it was compete. But, living in California, we experienced wildfires, and it was definitely that time of the year where you have wildfires, and I do remember it being very close to my home. I had just bought a home in California, and just kind of, luckily my home was undamaged, and everyone I know, thankfully, home was also undamaged. But I think this year also, I've just had a couple other little hiccups here and there. I fell really hard at practice about a week prior to our championships, and I had hit my head, had a mild concussion, and it was just kind of being dazed for a couple of days. Once that happened, I wasn't quite sure. I was at the track, but I didn't remember where I was at. So that's just definitely something unexpected that just comes along, well, not so much, but comes along with training, and you just kind of have to go with the punches. Funny enough, I didn't actually fall over the hurdles. I just fell sprinting, which was kind of just like a weird kind of freak accident. But so thankfully it wasn't over hurdles, because that probably would, kind of frighten me to jump over the hurdles. But you just kind of really had to refocus. I really didn't have much time to be scared. I had to leave for Des Moines in literally about a week. And once I was there, I hadn't trained up until that point. Once I got to Des Moines, just letting my brain kind of heal and just kind of preparing for what was about to happen. And so yeah, I think my focus, mental game, the people around me definitely helped. My coach and my masseuse, funny enough, really helped me kind of just stay focused and not think about it. And they were like, we're going to take care of you as much as we can do body-wise, and you just have to stay focused mentally. So I practiced Ramadan much when I was younger. My household obviously practices Ramadan, but as I became a professional athlete, I kind of, and especially in college, I didn't. But this year I did try to fast during Ramadan, and funny enough, it wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. I think the biggest challenges occurred when I had to do drug testing and not drinking water. When you have to go urinate, it kind of brings an issue in itself. So definitely just having to have them be with me all day until I had to urine, because I wasn't drinking water or eating food. So that was the biggest challenge I faced during Ramadan. But eating-wise and not drinking, I was actually able to handle it. I didn't do the whole month. But I just did as much as I could. I haven't spoken to any athletes, actually. I would love to speak to someone else and kind of see what they do during the month of Ramadan and how they train and compete. Yeah, that's a good one. I actually never have asked anyone. I kind of just going at it blind, and I just thought, you know what, this is a year I'm going to kind of see if I can do it. Well, unfortunately, I'm the only Muslim in my group, and I don't think my coach would cater to my Ramadan schedule. He would try to accommodate as much as he could, but so no, nothing had changed for me. It was just kind of a conscious decision. I think in life, if we really want to do something, we can make it happen no matter what the challenges are ahead of us. So for me, it was just that conscious decision. So nothing changed in my training. It was just kind of me sticking it out. That's why I wasn't able to do the full 30 days, just because, with such really intense days, and if it was really extremely hot in California, I kind of had to eat something. Absolutely. I think just being on a world standard, you learn so many different cultures from so many different people, and all the people you meet and the different countries you get to experience. I'm lucky enough to kind of have a very diverse training group. We have athletes from China and athletes from Japan, so we're able to kind of just get a world view of different cultures. And I think it does open, the eyes to the coaches of things that we experience. I know a couple of my Japanese athletes, the change in food was very drastic for them, and just having to adapt, and that was something that my coach kind of had to take notice of and accommodate for them. I do think we kind of have a little bit advantage having Japanese training partners, just because we'll get to go to Japan quite early before and kind of adjust, and they can kind of walk us through all the best places for food and just be out there. It'll be a much more enjoyable experience with their firsthand experience. Well, I definitely think I'm my own biggest critic, and so I think most of the pressure is coming from me. Everyone else kind of just tries to ease all the pressure off me, which is great. So I'm not feeling super pressured. I think last year I felt even more pressure than I do, so maybe it's still a little early, but we'll see kind of how the year plays out.